welcome back to episode 94 of Talkoffamepod podcast with your host, Kylie Montigney. And I'm so excited to have on actress Erin Michele Soto. Thank you so much. Come on, Erin.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me, Kylie.
Of course. So you're an actress. What made you want to start doing that and being in front of the camera and basically being in the entertainment industry?
Yeah, I feel like this, as far as camera, that started, oh gosh, I don't know when the camera ideas implanted in me. Acting started when I was very young. I was probably, oh gosh, I've been putting on plays since before I can even remember and doing plays and having fun. I feel
Mhm.
like, most children play just with toys, Barbies, this, that, you name it. You just have fun and imagination and all those different things. But for me, it just kind of always kept on spiraling into putting on plays and putting on shows. And finally, I did my first school play when I was 7. And I was the lead in Rumpelstiltskin as the miller's daughter. And so it kind of started there. And just I ended up doing some musical theater and just kind of kept moving forward, took some breaks, moving forward. So it's just kind of always been a little bit of a seed since I was young, but even before then, I feel like I was still putting on random shows.
That's
So
awesome. Like, do you have anyone in your family that acts, or is anyone in the entertainment industry? Or is this something that you kind of knew you wanted to do since you're like a young kid?
well, as far as acting, that's it's my own path. But we have a lot of artists in my family. I mean, I have a cousin who's a painter, an artist professionally. He does animation, which is really cool. I have my mom who is a ballet dancer, which is, some music and art and everything. I started actually dancing when I was 8, I say 18 months old, but I guess I must have been 2
Mhm.
when it started. I don't know where this whole 18 months old thing started.
Mhm.
But I was very young
Yeah.
when I started. And then we also, like, my dad did a little bit of music, my grandma sings, like, we just have a lot of artists in my family.
Mhm.
Um some full-time professional, and then other people just did art because it was what they needed to do. My dad made pottery as well. He had a pottery store. So just different types of art.
Yeah, that's amazing. Like that's how like my family is. I come from people they're actually journalists from our local news station down here in Pennsylvania. They're journalists for local news stations. So I can really connect on them because obviously I didn't start like at like a young age. I started kind of like a late in my teens at only about 14 years old I started. So I kind of
Mm.
started a little later than you did, but I also had like a family of journalists and all that stuff. But like, what was it like for you to grow with people of artists in your family? Because like obviously coming up from being an actor, wanting to make it out in the business, like what was it like to kind of have people in your family that are basically artists, not specifically in entertainment, but art in
Yeah,
general?
I guess it's just sort of normal. It became what is. Uh,
Hmm.
I haven't known any different. For me, music, listening to Mozart and Beethoven and all those things, and going to modern dance class. And um, I didn't know that. I mean, to me, our family was kind of I don't want to say the weirdos or the odd ones, but that's just what we were.
Hmm.
And that was normal to me. So I mean, sometimes I was a little bit of a fish out of water, like in normal
Hmm.
people, but in our house, it was just normal.
Hmm. I love that. So you played Christina on Emmy-winning award series Studio City. Can you tell us more about your character you portray in the show in general, Studio City?
Yeah, so Studio City is Sean Kanan was the creator of Studio City, and he calls it a love uh, letter to the soaps.
Hmm.
And basically, my character Christina, she is an actress who is a she is an actress who's on a soap opera,
Hmm.
and the character who she plays is Anastasia on the soap opera. So I sort of play two characters on the show.
Mhm.
And she deals with uh, kind of different, a couple of different storylines that have started, but for her, it's mainly fighting for uh, women's roles in the film and film and television industry,
Mhm.
and wanting to have larger roles, and having those great roles that the men have, and
Mhm.
that we're not just the pretty girls standing there holding clipboards and looking cute, and that we have something real to say, and that we don't just need to be wearing these like tiny little clothes, but like we can be something real, and that there's a real intelligence behind us. So that's what my character is dealing with. And
Mhm.
then when you see my character on the soap, sometimes I don't want to give away everything, but like, well, you can watch it, but sometimes I'm just in the beginning, I'm kind of dealing with less, and then I'm given a little bit more.
I love that. Like that is like such like a problem now. Like I really connected that because obviously women and girls and specifically characters on screen really do not do anything like the men do. Men always do like the fun, interesting things while women are basically doing the housework or the mom. But like
Yeah.
how did you kind of connect with that character? And like did you like was it kind of similar to you in like real life or did you like how did you connect to the character?
Well, what's interesting is because I kind of I look a certain way, but growing up, I was a little bit of I was a tomboy who wore a dress, um, and I still feel a little bit that way,
Mhm.
and I'm very girly, but I have this tomboy inside of me as well.
Mhm.
Um, in sixth grade, I like loved playing football with the guys.
Mhm.
I loved doing all those things, but at the same time, I wanted to clean up and wear skirts and dresses and be girly, and like I wanted
Mhm.
to do all those things, and be a girl. I wasn't like wanting to be like burly and manly. I just wanted to like do things, like I just wanted to do whatever I wanted to do.
Mhm.
And I would get upset because I just felt like, why? I don't know, I felt kind of similar. And it's complicated though at the same time, because it's like you don't want to, at least for me, I didn't want to lose my femininity,
Mhm.
but at the same time it was like I want to do all these other things too. And
Mhm.
sometimes I was not always allowed to do some other things because I might get hurt, or
Mhm.
I might, it's not within my own gender
Yeah.
role of what I'm supposed to do.
Yeah, that's how I was too, because obviously I come from an older brother, and obviously most of my childhood I was kind of spent playing sports with the guys, with my brother and his friends. So I was always like playing, doing something with my brother's friends. Like during my childhood, my only friends were really my brother's friends. I basically
Mhm.
was always hanging out with the guys. And
Yeah.
so I like, and then like I was obviously kind of felt like, oh my God, I should act like a normal girl, like you said, and be like, oh, I want to do express myself as a girl. And sometimes people would judge you for that. I'd be like, hey, like, why you hang out with guys? You should act like a girl. But girls can actually hang out with guys and play sports with them too. And there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
And so, like, do you have like a favorite like memory or like a moment from filming Studio City?
Oh gosh. Um, I I really liked doing the scene with Carolyn Hennessy. When I was actually talking about that and saying, hey, like what about the women? We have all these roles that we can do and can fight for, and all those things. And I really love that scene because it's and if I could do it, I'd like to expand even more on it, because there's two different sides to it. It doesn't
Hmm.
mean don't dress up like this. It doesn't mean don't dress down and wear a hoodie sweatshirt, like
Hmm.
you're wearing right now. It means all of
Hmm.
it. It means be everything, like, and
Mhm.
that's something that needs to fully be flushed out is,
Mhm.
it doesn't mean that if someone's acts like a tomboy or something like that, that they, like it doesn't mean that you're not a girl, or that
Yeah.
you're, or that because you want to hang out with the guys that you're not girly, or that you're not these
Mhm.
things. Do them. Get in that dirt, get dirty, do all,
Mhm.
do all that stuff.
Exactly. And so you have won Best Acting Duo for your role as Ellie in the film Lifeless
Mhm.
at some film festivals. So how are you feeling kind of about winning the award and being part of that film?
Yeah, it's really interesting is so Lifeless is it has multiple different topics that it deals with. And some of it's on has to deal with like social media, FOMO, like, um living like other people live the better life, like the grass is greener on the other side.
Hmm.
And people being very depressed because the other person's living a better life. And so far so much is there's both women are dealing with suicidal thoughts because of that, and it gets really dark. um but really it's the FOMO, and
Hmm.
also social media, and what that can do, because people looking at what other people are doing because of that, and we're all, a lot of us put our best selves out on social media.
Hmm.
And winning that award, or the awards that we have done, is interesting because it's great, but at the same time it's like I found myself putting out that I'm winning awards, and I'm like, well, wait a second, that can create FOMO in other people.
Yeah.
That can create a whole other process that put prides in other people. So I was like, it put a whole other spin on me on other things, and made me have to like sit and take a back seat and realize this whole thing that we're trying to do for can also spin on other things. And I was like, what am I doing here? I'm doing this whole film to create great things, to great stuff. And
Hmm.
then I'm talking about this great film, and now it feels like it's doing another reverse without having these things. So I'm like,
Hmm.
this is very interesting.
Yeah, but like it has like different sides of the story. You're like, oh my God, this is something I want to put out. Then I'm like, oh, this is like I don't know how I'm gonna feel about that. Like that's how I'm with like I feel like every person in entertainment like feels that when they're acting. They're like, oh my God, this is something I don't want to traumatize people, but also it's for like the minor good. These people might be able to connect with it. Or
Yeah.
something they might realize that people are going through that too. So it's like also something like, oh my God, this is what the heck is going on with this film? But then at the end of the day, people can really be touched by it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so, what roles kind of do you want to portray in the future? Like, do you have any specific roles you kind of want to portray, like a sassy person or whatever you want to like portray?
Yeah. Well, there's, gosh, I, in the future, I mean, just roles that really like make differences in people's lives, where people have like been through something really challenging and can um and have made it through the other side. I feel like those I have certain identifications with. um I have been through oh gosh, so I have cats out of the bag. So I am a traumatic brain injury survivor. And I would love, because I've had not everyone has the same success that I have. Like not everyone has, as far as like recovery and
Hmm.
being able to do those things and through hard work. And I would love to be able to play some people and some characters like that, who have gone
Hmm.
through that process, because I have such so many things that I can give on that level, and such vast experience and knowledge that, I mean, I know so much about the brain now because I've experienced things, and I'm like, no, there's so many things. Like, the brain is an amazing, phenomenal thing.
Hmm.
And I can explain things about the brain to doctors even,
Mhm.
who people are explaining, because I'm like, no, this is going on and this is going on and this is going on and this is going on, and then
Mhm.
that's going on and this is happening and then that's happening and that's happening and then this goes on, and then so like there's so much that I can do and give and bring, and I would love to play a character like that, or someone who's dealing with certain other symptoms that have to go around and deal with that on any
Mhm.
level of where they're at within the process,
Mhm.
because I've been there.
Yeah, I love that. Like obviously, like that's kind of like I connect with that because like obviously when I like what am at doctors, I basically am the person that's explaining them like my problems that they already know to them. Obviously, from watching a lot of medical shows, obviously I never gone what you've been through. I understand completely and everything, but when I see like a doctor, I'm like, okay, I can explain them. They're like, Kylie, like we're the doctors, we know what's going on and everything. Like that's kind of like me being like, hey, this is like I got like a foot injury doing something.
Mm-hmm.
That's me being my being like a doctor in my head, which I'm basically not.
Mm-hmm.
But like obviously, like did you get like a like have a fall from dance from doing that and everything?
So it was yeah, it was something while I was dancing, and I'm still slowly like getting to the level where I'm able to fully talk about everything,
Mhm.
I'm at my level of recovery where I'm able to say, yes, there was a time where I was a dancer, and, I mean, I can, but like, uh, I'm not a professional level
Mhm.
anymore, like that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And so that happened. And that's pretty much the level that I'm talking about it right now.
Yeah.
But yes, it was an injury that happened while I was in movement. So yeah.
Yes, I'm like I like your stories. I'm sure it's gonna help so many people that are going through kind of like the similar thing you're going through. I'm sure your stories will your story touches so many people, including me. So, like, what is some advice for people that they're starting out as an actor or kind of want to be an actor in the future?
Yeah, if you're just starting out as an actor or you want to be an actor, I mean, just I don't want to say put in the hours or the time, because I don't think that a career can necessarily start based on hours or time or this or that. Like, you don't know when your career is going to take off. You don't know when you're going to be discovered. That's based on the universe, or when things happen. Sometimes babies are discovered.
Yeah,
A baby can't even talk.
yeah.
So I guess you can't go based on outward validation. If you want to go based on that, all you can do is control like your own best. Like, if you love it, do it. Find a train a theater company, what type of acting you want to like start training in and doing. And as soon as you feel ready enough, and ask a good coach or something, then start reaching out to, casting or whoever wants to cast you professionally. But they'll have a good knowledge depending on where you're at. I mean, if you're a little baby, you can get into casting right away. But if you're even so much as a teenager or adult, you'll want to talk to casting too before you start going to the big professionals. But
Like, what is
stay.
something like you wish kind of you knew before like starting out that you wish like you like kind of knew before you started out that you kind of remind yourself, oh, I wish I knew that when I first started out and everything.
Yeah, for me, I would say find, like, if you can, I mean, find a good coach who knows. Like, first you need to find an acting, like, you have to have an acting coach, a coach who knows the industry, and a mentor.
Mm-hmm.
I wish I knew that they were all separate, because they're not the same.
Mm-hmm.
Because not all acting teachers know the acting industry.
Mm-hmm.
Not all people who know the industry know acting really well. and
Mhm.
not all, and mentors are completely separate than
Yeah.
all of the above. And of course, have friends.
Mhm.
So
It's
you
always
need,
good to make connections, you know. There's
yeah,
always things that kind of, like start completely separate than what you're kind of looking for.
yeah.
That's something I kind of wish I knew too when I first started out. I legit thought mentors, like I wish I like once I first started out, I literally thought journalism and entertainment industry was the easiest thing in the world, honestly,
Mhm.
which is not.
Yeah, yeah,
And so I just want to thank you so much for coming on the podcast and taking some time out of your day to come on. It was so fun to talk with you. I'm so glad we were able to make time to do this. It's so fun to chat with you, and we'll definitely stay in contact for sure. Thanks so much
yeah.
for coming on.
Thank you so much for having me.
Of course. Talk to you soon.
Yes, talk to you soon.